What's going on? It's Thursday. Lovely, stormy Thursday. We're on the Pineapple Express out here in Seattle. The weather's gone completely bananas. I don't know, some people are talking about 8 inches of rain this week. And full-on storms. I bet a tree's probably going to fall on my head at some point due to the wind and rain. Excuse me. All right, so today we're messing around with some lights. As you guys know, I'm going to be building a light fixture, and I have not, I've started building it, but I wanted to go over some of the, I wanted to try out a couple of different light bulbs, so I ended up making a video, which is this, on the two different types of kind of LED bulbs that are out there that I think are reasonable within the range, from price range to like I said, availability to kind of build your own. The GU10s are kind of my favorite LED out there because they make 110 volt ones that you can just wire up to an outlet directly. Obviously, these here, I got into test bulbs because I wanted to test them out by only, ordering just a couple of them instead of ordering 10 or 20 of them and disliking the ones. The bulbs that I have here are two different types. This one here that I got in my hand is the cob type LED, and I cannot remember what the cob stands for. It's something about the reflector, but you can see that there's a LED element there, and then it has a reflector built onto it. And they're pretty decent spotlights, and then here's the other kind I got, which actually has the little lenses built into it. So it's three individual 3-watt LEDs with a lens on it. So the Cobb one is actually a 12-watt LED that's relying on that larger reflector, whereas this type is actually using a lens to angle the light and send the light the direction that you want it to go. I find the ones with the lens to work a lot better. I wanted to try out a couple of the Cobb lights, and I'll end up hooking those up outside at these bulbs outside at some point in the landscaping outside. So that's what I got them for. Not only to try them, but I also have something to do with them later, which is why they are the screw type bulbs instead of the GU10. The GU10 use a little pig nose, is what they're called. A little pig nose is what they screw into. They're pop in and pop out light. That's just basically a different base so that you can wire a bunch of them in conjunction. So here we go. We're going to pop these onto the tank, and this is basically the easiest way that I would recommend that I do it to test out some new bulbs and see who and where I got them from. Obviously, these, I'll have links to these in the Amazon store if y'all are interested in checking out one or two and messing with them and playing with them on your own. And as you can see here, the Cobb, which has a tendency to get a much, I guess, what's the word for this? Finer focus, so I guess a smaller area. The spread's not as good because you have one LED diode, which is actually 12 watts as opposed to the other one, which is only 9 watts. You have a 12-watt LED diode that is sending light out, and there's only one area of that the light's being reflected into. It's a much more focused light. That's the word I'm looking for, focused. With the individual lenses on it, it gets a little bit wider dispersion pattern. As you can tell from the video, they're both very bright. Shine them in your eyes, and you'll get retinal damage eventually. Heading into a tank, you can obviously see that one is not exactly optimal lighting, for exactly what I'm looking for, which is kind of my whole point, that I'm going to need to get individual lights into individual spots where they're basically going to work, where they're going to work well. So that's my reasoning for going with the GU10s. They are a little bit smaller application-wise. The ones that I got in are 6 watts, so there's 3 2-watt LEDs with the lenses on them, and we'll go over those later when I do the wiring. And here we come up on some side-by-side comparison. The cob to the back and forth between the two, back and forth between the two. You can see there's a slight difference in the variation of light. I'm more in favor of a little bit of the more dispersed light, which is right here. You can see the with the lenses sort of dispersing the light throughout the tank a little bit more. It's just for me visually a better optic, I guess, to look at the tank and be able to see things and what's going on, and not having what sort of feels like just a flashlight shining straight at one spot. That was more or less the issue that I've had, especially with the LED landscape lights that I've used in the past. They're very directional, and they're a single enclosed unit, which I want to be able to have lights that I can move around and put them into different spots and have them go at different angles, which is why, once I make the GU10 fixture, you guys will see what I'm talking about. Each individual LED can be wired and placed where I want it, instead of being stuck with just one. For instance, right now you can see on the very center of the tank, I have a 50-watt LED that just puts light straight down into the center, which is fantastic. If I didn't have any plants growing on the left and right hand side of the tank, it does give it a real solid depth. But if I'm trying to light the whole entire tank, I'm burning through 50 watts of usable LED that could be spread out and dispersed around the tank, and also not going directly at the driftwood. Generally speaking, the driftwood will break down with so much light going straight at it, and you'll end up getting a good amount of hair algae growing out of your otherwise dead driftwood. And I do have a little bit of issue on that on the 240, and over the years I've had some issue with hair algae growing onto driftwood, because it does release a little bit of nutrients into the tank, which is just another reason to make sure that I'm doing my water changes. So you can see here I wired up some of the screw types into a new can that I got from a scrapyard for $3. Very simple thing to go to a used scrapyard and just dig around and find some old cans. Although in Seattle they've become very popular in new construction applications to give that retro look, to make it look real cool, like you're from the 40s or whatever. So they are more and more difficult to come across. If you happen to have a few lying around or whatever, you can probably make your own out of an old whatever can, maybe a coffee can, I don't know, whatever. And then, of course, we just have a little bit of a time lapse here at the end. But like I said, we're going to be building the GU10s off of the what is the name for them? They're kind of a par 20 LED bulb spotlight flood. The E27 is the screw type base. The GU10 is the pigtail base. So we'll be able to wire those independently in a long chain and be able to make a light hood out of them. What I'm going to end up doing with the 180 here is I'm going to make 3 individual light hoods so that I can light each part of the tank how I want it, and still be able to move them out of the way and work within the tank. If I was to make one big hood out of it with, say, like, for instance, with a lid on it that I can tip up and pull all the lights up out of the way. First of all, now I won't have any light in the tank. Second of all, this is a really tall tank. So if I add, say, like, let's just say a 6-inch hood onto the top, I cannot reach into the tank to get to anything at the bottom, and I would have to completely remove the hood. So what I'm going to be doing is kind of doing a bit of a hybrid, making 3 different hoods for the left side, the right side, and the center. The center is going to actually have 4 bulbs in it to start out with, and then each side will have 3 individually placed LEDs basically over where the plants are growing. So instead of having a long strip light that's just going to dump a bunch of light into the tank, I'm going to actually be able to move around and highlight the areas that I want, and also keep light intensity where I want it. For instance, the UG and the Monte Carlo and stuff like that at the front of the tank needs a lot more light than the back of the tank does. That polysperma doesn't need anything. The Ludwigia repens needs a little bit, a good amount of light just to keep it nice and red. The Ammonian gracilis needs a lot of light to keep it red, whereas the Deformis in the back doesn't need a ton of light. It just needs to have some light hitting it. And also, like I said before, I'll be able to direct the light around the driftwood, help give it a little bit of a little better, I guess, depth of field and texture, maybe. Maybe texture is a word that works in there. Probably not, but I'm going to throw it in there anyhow. This is a great opportunity for everybody to go ahead and get in your questions or comments or anything like that for tomorrow's live stream. As a reminder, tomorrow's live stream is 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm having to go pull down my art show previous to that, so if I happen, for any bizarro reason, if I happen to be getting back from that late, have no fear, we will do the live live stream, the live cast, the live broadcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it, will happen either way. So, and I'll also have the opportunity during the live cast tomorrow to show you guys some of the art that I've been working on recently, unless you really don't want me to. There is the subscribe thing, so if you are not subscribed, go ahead and click through to the subscribe thing. The subscribe button, just go hit it. You know what you're doing. It's free. YouTube, just hit the subscribe. It's fucking free, man. Like, you don't have to pay for anything, and you get an opportunity to find out what the hell I'm doing, what I'm blowing money on, all kinds of weird projects. Like I said before, go ahead and comment. It's a good opportunity if you're not going to be around for the live stream tomorrow to throw a comment on here or direct message me through YouTube. Blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and check out darkstaraquatics.com. That's what's going on today. And wherever Cichlid Bro is, you better be wearing your future pants, bro, because it's Thursday. Or is it Technicolor Dream Pants Thursday? I guess I'm off base on that one. I don't even know what my own thing is. We'll just call it Technicolor Pants Thursday. And, oh, yeah, I got some new slippers yesterday. We'll talk about those tomorrow. All right. Later.